here it is time for the great one, the YouTube People's Champ. Oh, to do another reaction, baby. The Vince McMahon documentary series on Netflix has dropped. And dare I say, it is controversial to say the least. And one part of that series talked about what could be arguably the most controversial moment when, for the first time, or at least one of the main times, kayfabe was broken. The night the Kliq changed wrestling.
J-Rocc has come back to YouTube.
What is happening and with the millions? Oh, and the millions of J-Rocc fans from all over the world. That's right, baby. J-Rocc is here. And we're about to check out from the channel The Score, the night the curtain call changed wrestling forever. Because they pulled the curtain back and allowed the world to see, hey, this isn't what we think it is. This isn't bad guys really disliking good guys. That this is all entertainment. Many people already knew that, but some of us didn't. And so one night, a fan, because it wasn't recorded and it damn sure wasn't going to be put out by WWE, there was a fan in the stands who had a camcorder. This is back in the mid-90s. Recorded it, and it got leaked. And it rocked the wrestling world in ways it has not been rocked since. And so we're about to check out the impact. If you haven't seen the Vince McMahon Netflix series, whoo, that's all I'm gonna say. All right, come on, baby, let's check this thing out. Show time.
When wrestling fans entered Madison Square Garden on May 19th, 1996, no one could have predicted the seismic consequences of what was supposed to be a standard WWF house show. By the time the untelevised event wrapped up, wrestling history would be rewritten, and the world of sports entertainment would never be the same. When WCW launched Monday Nitro in 1995 to combat then WWF's Monday Night Raw, Ted Turner's promotion threw fuel on the fire of its rivalry with Vince McMahon's company. Thus began a riveting era in wrestling history known as the Monday Night War. In the early days of those television battles, a group of WWF's in-ring stars had consolidated a considerable amount of backstage power over McMahon and his team. The Kliq, as they came to be known, consisted of Shawn Michaels, Paul Levesque, or Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Kevin Nash, then known as Diesel, Scott Hall as Razor Ramon, and Sean Waltman as the 1-2-3 Kid. With McMahon's ear and a commitment to stick together, the Kliq heavily influenced the direction of storylines, the outcome of matches, and the career trajectories of not only themselves, but the WWF roster as a whole. It turns out the only thing that could stop them was WCW, who poached Nash and Hall in 1996 with bigger, more guaranteed contracts than McMahon was willing to offer. The pair's last matches were to take place at an MSG house show on May 19th. No television or pay-per-view audience, just the tens of thousands in attendance in New York. The very last match of that show saw Michaels, a good guy or babyface, take on bad guy or heel Nash. At the time, wrestling promotions went to great lengths to maintain the illusion of their on-screen storylines. Wrestlers were supposed to remain in character at public events, and on-screen rivals weren't supposed to be caught fraternizing together in public. The Kliq was about to turn that sacred, time-old tradition on its head. When the match between Nash and Michaels ended, Levesque, then a heel, and Hall, a face, joined them in the ring. Hall's goodbye hug to Michaels would have been suspect enough, but when Levesque broke character to hug Michaels, Hall, and Nash, any remnants of the WWF's facade came tumbling down. A four-man group hug and a joint salute to the crowd sent fans into a frenzy, but to McMahon and pro wrestling purists, those actions were downright scandalous. The events of that night in New York came to be known as the curtain call, and were seen as an affront to the industry. To McMahon and company, it was already bad
The Undertaker was not there that night, just so you guys know. Mark Calloway, he was not there that night. He was away at the time, and according to him, had he been there, I don't know what one guy would have been able to do against 4, but I'm just leaving it at that.
Enough. But when fan-recorded camcorder footage of the shocking moment hit websites and magazines, the WWF found itself with egg on its face. The fans' camcorders alone had to be snuck in past security. Something needed to be done, and someone had to pay. But with Nash and Hall already en route to WCW, where they would spearhead the NWO and an 84-week dominance over WWF in the Monday TV ratings, Diesel and Razor Ramon couldn't be punished. Meanwhile, Michaels was the WWF champion at the time, one of the company's biggest draws and arguably the entire industry's greatest entertainer. Unwilling to make the Heartbreak Kid the whipping boy, McMahon's fury ultimately came down on Levesque. As punishment for the curtain call, plans for Triple H to make the finals of the 1996 King of the Ring tournament were scrapped. In his place, the company pushed an up-and-comer by the name of Stone Cold Steve Austin. In the aftermath of winning the 96 King of the Ring by beating legend
Think about that just for a second. Stone Cold wasn't even supposed to win it. That curtain call literally changed wrestling beyond just what had happened to itself. The fallout from it basically ushered us into what became the Attitude Era, led by the one and only Stone Cold Steve Austin. But had he not won that King of the Ring, I'm not saying he still wouldn't have been Stone Cold, but would it have happened? I mean, it probably still would have happened, but yo, that's crazy.
Jake the Snake Roberts in the final. Austin delivered an unforgettable on-mic promo that made him an overnight superstar.
Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass.
From the moment Austin 3:16 entered wrestling fans' lexicon and into the 21st century, Stone Cold became the most fervently supported wrestler, a beer-chugging anti-hero who, along with The Rock, helped spearhead the so-called Attitude Era that propelled WWF back to the top. The Attitude...
Let me just say this real quick. I make no bones about the fact that The Rock is my favorite wrestler of all time. He and Stone Cold is kind of 1A, 1B, whatever. But let's be crystal clear. Before The Rock became who he was, Stone Cold was already the man. The feud that ushered us into the Attitude Era was Austin and McMahon. The Rock catapulted himself in a way that no other star in the WWE could. But it wasn't Austin and The Rock. It was Austin and McMahon. The Rock is still my favorite, but it's Austin, all right?
Attitude Era and WWF ratings were also greatly aided by a Michaels and Levesque-led faction known as D-Generation X that may never have come to fruition if not for the events of the curtain call. During one scripted promo in 1997, Michaels and Triple H even used footage of the infamous incident to troll a ringside McMahon, a type of rebellious, anti-authority attitude that birthed DX, which was WWF's answer to the NWO. Along with Stone Cold, The Rock, and a more obscene brand of storytelling, DX helped WWF squash WCW once and for all. McMahon eventually bought out the company in 2001. The curtain call had peeled back the curtain on the entire industry, but by tapping into it and embracing a more raw identity in which the lines between reality and fiction were sometimes blurred, McMahon's promotion was forever better off. After years of merely providing play-by-play for his company's televised events, it was around this time that McMahon began including himself in storylines, often pitting himself against the likes of Austin, DX, and others to much fanfare. And it was all thanks to 4 wrestlers who wanted to give each other a friendly send-off in front of an unwitting crowd, and a couple young fans whose footage of the incident went viral before viral was even a thing. 19 years later, former members of the Kliq surprised those fans back at MSG in hilarious fashion.
We taped it not to sell it, not to trade it. What we did is Hey guys.
What's up?
You guys know, like in the beginning of those shows, there's like a disclaimer about, like shooting video and prosecuting to the fullest extent of the law. So I'd like to have these officers just have a word with you guys. Thanks. All right, get these guys out of here. Get them in. Get them in.
Sorry.
Bootlegging's a crime.
If you were a fan of wrestling during its late 90s heyday, or remain one today, you owe much of what the industry has become to the curtain call. How ironic that in a form of sports entertainment often mocked for its fiction, one of the most influential moments in wrestling history was an unscripted one with no TV cameras in sight. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe.
J-Rocc says this. That moment was a domino effect to what we now know today as the WWE. I don't know if the WWE would have eventually turned into the Attitude Era. I'm going to say probably yes. Considering the characters involved, it may not have come about the same way. May have started maybe a little later than it would have. We'll never know, but I can say this, is that moment, that curtain call, had a huge impact in professional sports. So, in entertainment, of course. It was, I didn't even think about the whole, not recording thing at the time. These fans were like, we don't care. And had they not been there to record it, it would have only been word of mouth. And you guys know it's one thing to hear about something. It's a whole other thing to actually see it. And when we saw it, we were like, what? Wait a minute. Triple H is a bad guy. Why is he hugging? Wait, what the hell is going on? But, it was just one of those. It was that moment that brought us to where we are today. And so, anyway, if y'all want more content like this, you know what to do. Run them likes up. Let J-Rocc see that you are engaging with the content so I can know where to put my energy and effort into. Post your comments down below. Let J-Rocc know what you thought of his reaction to this video. No rhyme intended on that line. And if you enjoyed the Great One's reaction, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Make sure you hit that bell so you can be notified when it is time to be electrified. Thank you for joining J-Rocc. Stay tuned. Next video. Mamba, GG, and Wakanda forever. If you smell what J-Rocc is cooking.